Modern identity in Alberta is really related to ranching and stampede, right? We have this really important narrative in our province, but that narrative is largely whitewashed. John Ware is commonly referenced as Alberta's first black cowboy. We always talk about those big four that started the stampede. Most of them are in the Canadian Agricultural Hall of Fame. But folks like Ware, despite the fact he's talked about in sort of a legendary capacity, they're not incorporated in our current narrative and identity in the same way. Basically, we're going to start looking into his life. It's not very well known except from later accounts of him from fellow cowboys kind of into the 20s and 30s. There's some photos, there's homestead records, but that's about it. He came up to Canada in 1882 and worked at the Barrie Ranch. There's lots of stories about him riding the horse that nobody else could ride, or being so strong he'd lift the biggest hay bale. But it's hard to tell how accurate and realistic those are when they're written, 30 years after he died. We'll be headed down to his first homestead site near Millerville to see if we can find the location of his house and see what kind of subsurface archaeological remains are left there from Ware's time there. We have numerous archaeologists on board, as well as a couple of graduate students from the University of Alberta. So they're bringing specialized geophysical equipment. Various geophysical techniques allow us to kind of see what might be present under the ground without actually spending the time to dig holes, right? So they give us a sense of what might be buried there and help us target our excavations. The biggest, most exciting thing to find would be a garbage dump or an outhouse. As silly as that sounds, that's where people are putting all the things they're leaving behind, right? So if we find that, we can get a really good sense of the types of goods he had access to, what he was using at his homestead, that sort of thing. Having that intact would give us a really great opportunity to really study his lifestyle and understand better how he fit into what was a largely Eurocentric society at the time.